Woman, listen to me right now. There comes a season in your life when every door slams shut in your face, when the phone stops ringing, when the people who swore, "I got you," suddenly disappear like smoke. When the man walks out, the children turn their backs, the job fires you, the doctor shakes his head, the bank sends the final notice, and midnight finds you sitting on the edge of the bed with tears burning your cheeks, whispering, "I have nobody but God." Can I tell you something the kingdom has taught me? That is not the end of you. That is the beginning of your dominion. When you have no one but God, you have finally qualified for the greatest promotion heaven ever releases. Because when every human hand lets you go, that's when the hand of the king reaches down and says, "Now watch me become everything they never were." You thought you needed their approval. You never did. You thought you needed their money. Wrong again. You thought you needed their presence. Baby girl, the manufacturer never designed you to run on anybody else's battery. He wired you to plug straight into the original power source. When a woman has no one but God, mountains start trembling because something dangerous just got activated in the spirit realm. Hell knows the record. Every time a woman got left with nothing but God, she came out ruling something. Sarah had nobody but God, came out mother of nations. Hagar had nobody but God, came out with a promise over her son. Hannah had nobody but God, came out carrying Samuel. The widow of Zarephath had nobody but God. Her little oil started multiplying and never stopped. Woman, your empty place is not your burial ground. It is your coronation room. Your loneliness is not punishment. It is preparation. Your tears are not weakness. They are liquid prayers going straight to the throne. Lift your head right where you are. The season of having no one but God is the season God says, "Daughter, I've been waiting on this moment. Now let the king arise in you." Woman, come close. Let me whisper something to you that will shake the marrow in your bones. Picture this. You're standing in the ruins of everything you trusted. The last voice that said, "I'm here," has just faded into silence. The last hand that held yours has slipped away like sand through desperate fingers. The last door that looked like rescue has slammed so hard the walls are still vibrating. You are alone completely, terrifyingly, absolutely alone. And right there, in that suffocating vacuum where even your own heartbeat sounds scare you, something begins to move that you cannot see. A rustling in the unseen realm. A shifting under the surface of your pain. While you're gasping, "I can't feel anybody. Heaven is roaring. Perfect. Now we can feel her." Because here is the secret the enemy never wants you to discover. When every human hand lets go, the hand of God takes over. Not a polite hand, not a sympathetic pat on the backhand. No, the scarred, nail-pierced, sovereign hand that flung galaxies into space and still has dirt from Adam's rib under its fingernails. That hand reaches down in the exact moment every counterfeit support collapses. You thought those people were holding you up? Baby, they were only scaffolding. Temporary beams the builder allowed so the real structure could be poured in secret. The moment the scaffolding is kicked away, the masterpiece stands revealed, and the architect steps forward with a grin that makes demons nervous. Listen to me, Mary Magdalene stood at an empty tomb with every human hope shattered, and the first hand that touched her that morning belonged to the resurrected king. Hagar sat in a desert with a dying child and no husband in sight, and the angel said, "Lift the boy up, for I will make him a great nation." Because the hand that had been pushed away by Abraham was now being held by El Roy, the God who sees. Ruth walked into Bethlehem with nothing but a grieving mother-in-law and a broken heart. And the hand that once belonged to a dead husband was quietly being guided toward the field of the kinsman redeemer. Every time a woman reached the place where no human hand could reach her anymore, that's when the nail-scarred hand broke through the veil and said, "Tag, you're mine now. Right now your phone may be silent, your bed may be cold, your bank account empty, your name slandered, your body tired, but there is a hand moving in the darkness that human eyes cannot track. It is tracing your tears, measuring your pain, calculating your comeback, and writing your new chapter with ink that hell cannot erase. You are not falling apart, you are falling into place. Every hand that let you go just made room for the hand that will never let you go. And when the hand of God takes over, Woman, kingdoms tremble, destinies shift, and the atmosphere around you begins to vibrate with one unstoppable announcement. She's not alone anymore. The king just showed up. Woman, don't you dare call that empty room a grave, because the king just turned it into a throne room. You keep looking at the four walls closing in, the bare table, the silent phone, the calendar with no appointments, the mirror that shows a woman who feels like nothing, and you're screaming inside crying, "This is the end of me." No, daughter, this is the coronation room, and the crown is already being lowered over your head while you're still wiping your face. Every queen in the Bible who ever wore real authority first had to walk through a season where the palace was empty. Esther was an orphan girl in a foreign land with no father, no mother, no husband, no child, nobody but God. And the same night the palace felt emptiest. The king couldn't sleep. The gallows were built for the enemy. And the royal crown was placed on the head of a woman who had nothing but a midnight prayer and a God who never slumbers. Your empty place is not abandonment, it is arrangement. The manufacturer cleared the room on purpose. He removed the audience so the only voice you can hear is his. He turned off every lesser light so the Shekinah could rise in you without competition. He allowed the silence because royalty is about to be unveiled, and royalty never shares the stage with counterfeit comforters. Feel it right now, the floor of your emptiness is shaking. That's not depression. That's the ground preparing for a throne. The same wilderness that tried to bury Moses became the place where God said, "Take off your shoes. The ground you're standing on is holy." Your desert of nobody is about to become holy ground because the king only crowns his daughters where no man can take the credit. Look at the record. Jocheb had an empty basket and a death decree, but that empty basket became the coronation chariot that floated a deliverer straight into Pharaoh's house. Rahab had an empty roof and an invading army outside. That empty roof became the coronation platform where the scarlet cord turned a harlot into an ancestor of the Messiah. The Shunammite woman had an empty womb and an empty upper room, but the prophet walked in and said, "About this time next year, you'll embrace a son." And that empty room became the coronation suite where death itself bowed. Your empty bank account, coronation treasury being prepared for overflow. Your empty arms, coronation cradle for the promise that's coming. Your empty nights, coronation rehearsals where angels teach you how to decree like a queen. Lift your chin, woman. The oil of gladness is being poured right over the ashes on your head. The robe of praise is sliding over shoulders that have carried too much shame. The signet ring is being pressed into your hand while you're still saying, "But I have nothing." That's exactly why you qualify. Empty hands make the best canvases for the king to paint his glory. And in this coronation room that the devil labeled forgotten, heaven is posting angels at the door shouting, "Make way. The daughter is about to rise with healing in her wings and dominion in her mouth." Woman, the moment you realize you have no one but God, something lethal wakes up in the spirit realm. Something the devil has nightmares about. Something that makes principalities pack emergency meetings. A woman with no one but God activates kingdom dominion like nothing else on this planet. When every crutch is kicked away, when every backup plan burns, when every plan B turns to ashes in your mouth. That's when the original mandate that was spoken over you in your mother's womb roars back to life. The enemy thought he isolated you. He actually insulated you. He thought he stripped you. He actually stripped away everything that was blocking the glory. Understand this? Dominion was never given to committees, never released through connections, never activated by popularity. Dominion is birthed in caves, forged in furnaces, and released from upper rooms where only one voice is left, the voice of a daughter talking to her father. Hannah stood in a temple full of religious people, but she had no one but God. And while Eli thought she was drunk, she was downloading dominion that would topple Philistine giants for generations. One woman, one prayer. Zero support system, yet the Bible says she prayed unto the Lord and wept sore. And that sorrow became the womb of a prophet who would anoint kings. Deborah sat under a palm tree with no army behind her, no husband fighting for her, no cabinet advising her, just a woman and her God. And the Bible calls her mother in Israel, From that lonely tree, she released a word that crushed Sisera's skull under the heel of another woman who also had nobody but God. You think your isolation is weakness. Baby, isolation is incubation. The same way an eagle pushes every soft thing out of the nest so the eaglets feel the thorns and learn to fly, God just pushed every soft, fake, temporary comfort out of your life so the thorns of hunger for Him would force you to spread wings you didn't know you had. Right now, hell is trembling because a certain kind of woman is rising, the kind who doesn't need a cheering section, doesn't need a co-sign, doesn't need a man's permission, doesn't need a title on a door. She only needs an audience of one, and when that one says, go, mountains relocate, Red Sea split, and dead things hear a woman's voice and live again. When a woman has no one but God, she stops asking for seats at tables that were built too low for her assignment. She starts building kingdoms that outlast her pain. She stops begging for crumbs and starts commanding harvests. She stops whispering complaints and starts thundering decrees that rearrange atmospheres. Your enemies are about to discover what Pharaoh discovered too late. The moment you mess with a woman who has nothing left to lose and everything to gain in God, you just signed the death certificate on your own oppression. The same fire that tried to consume you is about to become the fire that announces you. The same grave that tried to swallow you is about to become the platform from which you preach resurrection. Woman, dominion is not coming later. Dominion is rising right now in your chest. The scepter is being placed in your hand while tears are still wet on your face. The crown of favor is being fitted while critics are still laughing. The mantle of authority is falling on your shoulders while haters are still scrolling. And every demon that celebrated your loneliness is about to choke on the revelation that lonely women who know their God become dangerous women who do exploits. Woman, stop apologizing for those tears. Stop hiding them like they're shame. Those hot rivers racing down your face at 3 a.m. when nobody's watching, those are not weakness. Those are liquid prayers that move the throne faster than 10,000 polished sermons ever could. Every drop that falls from your eyes in the midnight hour is caught by a hand that has never dropped anything precious. The Bible says He puts your tears in His bottle. Do you know what that means? He's collecting evidence. Every tear is being labeled, dated, cataloged in the courts of heaven as legal testimony against everything that made you cry. David said, I am weary with my moaning. Every night I flood my bed with tears. And the same man who cried himself to sleep in a cave became the man who danced himself into a dynasty. Your pillow soaked tonight is tomorrow's platform soaked in oil. You think heaven is deaf because the answer hasn't knocked on your door yet. Baby girl, heaven is not deaf. Heaven is detailed. While you're sobbing, angels are carrying those tears straight past principalities, past protocols, past every gate, straight into the throne room. And when they pour that bottle out before the Ancient of Days, the fragrance of a broken woman's cry fills the entire atmosphere until the king himself stands up and says, who touched my heart like that? One woman cried at Jesus' feet in Simon's house. No words, just tears falling on holy feet. And Jesus turned to the whole room and said, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. Tears did what theology couldn't do. Tears rewrote her story in front of her haters. Hezekiah turned his face to the wall and wept sore. And before the prophet could get out of the palace courtyard, God said, go back and tell him I've seen his tears and added 15 years. Your midnight tears just bought you extra time, extra favor, extra territory the enemy already wrote off. You keep thinking your crying makes you look crazy. The devil knows it makes you look dangerous. Because every tear is a seed, and seeds don't make noise when they're planted. But one day the ground that swallowed your tears is going to split open and hand you a forest. Those tears are not evaporating. They are irrigating. They're watering visions that looked dead, softening soil that got hard, washing the dirt off promises that were buried under betrayal. Every sob is a shovel breaking ground for something so big you'll need new vocabulary to describe it. And while you're crying, the Father leans over the balcony of heaven and says to the angels, watch this one. She still believes me enough to water her future with her face. That's the moment mercy marks you, grace dates you, And glory tattoos you with a promise that says, weeping may endure for a night, but I personally guarantee the joy that's coming in the morning. So cry, woman, cry hard, cry loud, cry ugly if you have to. Cry until the pillow can't hold any more. Because every tear is a missile aimed at the camp of the enemy. And when the last drop falls, the same throne that collected them is going to thunder back with an answer that makes the walls of Jericho in your life fall flat. Your tears are not the end of the war. They are the beginning of your winning streak. Because nothing moves God like the undiluted, unashamed, unstoppable cry of a daughter who has no one left to call but daddy. Woman, dry your eyes for 1 second and hear the manufacturer's original warranty on your life. He never designed you to run on another person's power. Never. You were not created to be an extension cord plugged into somebody else's outlet, living off their approval, their money, their affection, their validation, their mood swings, their schedule, their leftovers. No. The day he knit you together in that secret place, he hardwired you straight to the source that lit the sun and still has power left over. You've been panicking because the little battery you borrowed from people just died. But baby, that was never your real battery. That was a cheap knockoff, a temporary charger that was only allowed so you would finally look up and see the nuclear reactor with your name engraved on it. The moment you came out of the womb, heaven stamped on your spirit, runs only on divine voltage. Do not attempt to operate on secondary currents. Any other power source will eventually fail and cause permanent damage to destiny. That's why every relationship that tried to be your power supply eventually short-circuited. That's why every job that tried to be your source dried up. That's why every friend who promised, I'm your ride or die, suddenly went ghost. They were never designed to carry the load of your purpose. They were 9-volt batteries trying to power a city. But when you have no one but God, you finally flip the switch back to factory settings. You stop limping on half, charge human affection, and plug straight into the same power that raised Jesus from the dead. The same power that spoke to nothing and produced everything. The same power that turned water into wine, blind eyes into seeing eyes, and empty tombs into victory parades. You were never meant to run on compliments. You were meant to run on commandments. You were never meant to run on likes. You were meant to run on light. You were never meant to run on their permission. You were meant to run on his presence. That man who left, he just unplugged a counterfeit cord. That friend who betrayed, she just pulled a faulty adapter. That job that fired you, they just cut a wire that was never grounded in eternity. Now feel the surge. The moment every fake plug was yanked out of your life, the real current shot through your veins. Your gifts are lighting up. Your vision is getting 20-20. Your prayer language is switching to high voltage. Your worship is shaking foundations. Your faith is pulling tomorrow into today. You don't need a booster, woman. You are the booster. You don't need a jump start. You are the power plant. And the world is about to discover what happens when a daughter finally stops trying to run on borrowed sparks and starts operating on the limitless, uninterruptible, everlasting power of the Most High God. Your new normal is not trickle charge. Your new normal is thunderbolt glory straight from the throne. And once you've tasted factory power, you'll never crawl back to anybody's weak little outlet again, because the manufacturer just flipped the master switch and shouted, "Let this daughter shine with my original wattage." Stand up right where you are, right now. Every hand that let you go just handed you back to the one who formed you. Every door that slammed just sealed you into your coronation chamber. Every tear you cried just paid for the oil that's dripping from your head this moment. Every night you survived with nobody but God just promoted you to a rank the devil cannot touch. You are not broken. You are breaking forth. You are not empty. You are loaded with resurrection power. You are not forgotten. You are marked for a comeback that will be taught in heaven for ages. So here is your kingdom decree tonight. No more shrinking to fit somebody else's small opinion. No more begging for seats at tables your Father already owns. No more running on dead batteries when the throne room is your power station. Lift your hands, feel the surge. Open your mouth, release the roar. Step forward. Hell is already backing up. From this night forward, when the enemy whispers, "She's alone," Let every demon in the second heavens hear the echo of 1,000 angels shouting back alone. No, she has the king. And the king has just made her unstoppable. Now go. Walk out of this place carrying fire in your eyes, thunder in your steps, and glory on your lips. Rule your home like a queen. Raise your children like a prophetess. Build your business like a builder of the kingdom. Love again like a woman who knows her worth was never up for vote. The wealthiest place on earth will never receive your dreams because you will die empty, having given everything heaven deposited in you. You are dangerous now. You are favored now. You are unstoppable now. God bless you wildly, love you fiercely, and keep you blazing till Jesus comes. Thank you for letting me speak into your spirit tonight. Now go and take the land.